broadfork. You can see it has a crossbar and it has tines sticking down it. And mine looks a little bit homemade because it has these branches on there because I left this thing out in the rain way too much and it's super old and the handles rotted out. So we kind of fixed it up this way. It gives it a kind of a unique feel. They come in all different kinds of sizes and shapes, and I like this one. Why would you want to use a broadfork for gardening? Well, I love using my broadfork because it really does a beautiful job aerating soil. So instead of having a rototiller that tears up all those nice earthworms and all the beautiful microbial life in the soil, you don't mix the soil like a rototiller does, but you aerate it, and then it loosens the soil so you can plant your beautiful plants in. The other advantage of using a broadfork is that it loosens the soil more deeply than a rototiller would. A rototiller only goes, 4 to 6 inches, but this one goes down as far as these tines are, and that way the soil is more aerated for the roots to grow nice and deep, get more nutrients, get more water. It's just a beautiful solution. One of my favorite reasons for using my broadfork is that I can work the soil earlier in the season when it still might be too wet to work it if you did it with a rototiller. Rototillers would really damage the soil structure if it's too wet, so you do not want to rototill in wet soil, and often springtime is really wet. So what you gonna do? I use my broadfork. I'm gonna show you how I do it, okay? And one word of caution, we have had the wettest rainfall here in the Pacific Northwest in a long time, like some record rainfall, and the soil is super wet. I would never go near it with a rototiller, but I'm gonna try to use my broadfork on this, and it might still be very wet, but let's check it out. The other thing is I never ever step into my garden beds because it will compact the soil, which is not good for it. So what you do with the broadfork, you start halfway into your garden bed, you step onto the crossbar. See, I'm not stepping onto the soil, I'm stepping onto the crossbar. Now you're gonna lean back and open up that soil that way. Oh, in fact, come here, camera, come here. I have some beautiful earthworms to show you. Look at that. There's some from my side here. You can see all those little roots in there. There's a little earthworm hiding, and all this would get torn up by the rototiller. So then I just wiggle it like this, and then you go back a little bit more, step on the crossbar, pull back, wiggle, and see, this doesn't mix up the layers of the soil at all. So the other advantage of that, by the way, is that weed seeds often lay dormant underneath, few inches underneath the soil. And with the rototiller, all those weeds get brought to the surface. But with the and then they sprout and there'll be massive weeds, even from years back. With my broadfork, I don't mix the soil, I just aerate it. Okay, let's keep going. Now I want you to come here and look at this. We literally have had record rainfall, and my soil, it's still pretty wet, but look at the broadfork is doing a beautiful job of just really look at how far in I can go, how nice and aerated it is. So I can direct plant some things in here like peas and things like that, and they will just love it because their roots can grow down really far. And then I just go ahead and move over this side. Of course, another reason I like the broadfork is because it's great exercise. Who needs a gym if you have a broadfork? Oh! Okay. Oops. Lesson learned. Do not leave your broadfork out in the rain because it rots away the wood. So we shall redo this thing. By we I mean my husband. And never mind. But look at how nice a job it did.